in Seattle, and you need to buy or sell a home, we'll be right there for you. Because we're the realtors that you can trust. So go to ronanddonsitdown.com.
You're listening to The Ron and Don Show on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Hey, you guys, what's going on? Welcome to episode 858 now of The Ron and Don Show, and we are live in the Les Schwab studio.
What is up, Ron and Don Nation?
What is it, Matt? Hang on, you guys. We're on YouTube now, and you want me to do what with my microphone?
That's sort of laugh. What are you laughing at?
What do you want me to do? Okay. Am I speaking into the microphone and do I look at the camera or do I look at Ron? Who do I look at?
Let's start with you looking at the camera and see how that goes, and then maybe when you get into a conversation, look at Ron.
Then look at Ron.
Perfect. All right.
Okay. We're new to YouTube, you guys, but how do we have 3,000 followers on YouTube already?
I don't know. I looked at the channel. We got 3,000 followers. Just go to YouTube, Ron and Don Radio in the search box, and there you go.
Hey, let us know. Can you send us a note on YouTube?
You can make a comment.
Yeah, make a comment. Should we be looking in the camera so you can see my steel blue eyes? What color are your eyes?
Hazel.
Ron's hazel eyes, or should we be looking at each other so Ron could see my steel?
And I'm like trying to find the right angle to where my belly doesn't stick out.
Yeah, and Ron and I have worn really small black shirts, so you can't see how much we've grown. And also, we're doing a little gun show today. What do you guys think of the gun show?
I will not be doing the gun show.
Hey, coming up on the Ron and Don Show, let's talk about airport detentions. I want to be detained. Also, rules for splitting a restaurant bill have changed. And I read these rules, and I don't know. I don't know that I don't know that I agree with these rules. And then also we have to talk about either the mushroom murderer. I'm going to give you a chance to select, Ron. Do we talk about the mushroom murderer? Or in Minnesota now, I read last night that you can actually show your and it went to like the Supreme Court of Minnesota, and now you can kind of show off your stuff. Did you read that story?
No.
I sent it to you late last night. There's a woman. Let's just start there. There's a woman in Minnesota. In fact, hang on. Look to the camera on and talk to the people. I gotta find the story real quick because I pulled this last night and I'm surprised that you didn't read. Okay, Minnesota, and I think this is important, you guys. The Minnesota Supreme Court has decided that female breasts are not lewd or inherently sexual, and you can now expose these in public.
Okay,
which is good news for us as we get older and fatter. We're gonna, and that is kind of weird. That guys,
what was the case?
Let me tell you about the case.
How did this get elevated to the Supreme Court of Minnesota?
Well, it involves a trip to the Quick Trip. Are you ready?
Okay.
Have you been to a Quick Trip?
No, I don't know if I've ever been to Minnesota.
Okay, let me just read this from the Minnesota Star Tribune. It says police officers in Rochester, Minnesota, were called to the Quick Trip parking lot back in July of 2021 because Eloisa Plancart had her shirt pulled up and she was revealing her.
Okay.
Yeah. She was known to officers. They already charged her twice that week with indecent exposure, once for exposing her underwear, another time for exposing her, and another time back to the underwear. When the cops approached her, they asked her why her breasts were out. She told them that she was a stripper at a biker bar and that all the Catholic girls do it.
Okay. That sounds like a good defense. Seems like this.
I grew up in the Catholic Church. I always hoped when I was 7 and an altar boy that all the Catholic girls did this, but I have to say, being a Catholic, this is not true.
So this got all the way to the Supreme Court?
Yeah, the Minnesota Supreme Court has now agreed with her, you guys. Yeah. In overturning the District Court and the Court of Appeals decision, the state's high court ruled last week that there's nothing illegal about a woman having her breasts out in public in Minnesota as long as she's not engaging in sexual activity, because they felt like if men can do it, then women should be able to do it too. They do say, though, that revealing your If these are your hoo-has up there, what's down there?
I don't know. So saying up top is fine, down below the belt
Whatever
is not
that
fine.
is.
Yeah.
You still can't show that. And you can't have sex in public, but you can kind of show off your stuff, which in Seattle, people have always kind of showed off their stuff.
Yeah, well, we
In
have
fact,
the Ballard bicycle ride.
Yeah, when we go out on the boat on Lake Washington, my son is always curious about the beach. And so we go by that beach because we always think we're going to see something. And you know what they say when you go by the nude beach on Lake Washington? If you see something, say something. I don't mind taking him by there because I know he's going to be extremely disappointed because there's never any Catholic girls out there or former strippers. It's just men out there running around.
Well, don't get your hopes up too high for a Minnesota stripper at a convenience store either.
Anyway, the Minnesota Supreme Court has spoken, and I just wonder if this will end up at the highest court of the land and if this is going to be turned over. Because there's a lot of cases right now that are going to state Supreme Courts and also to federal Supreme
People
Courts.
need to get over the human body. Like, it's not that big a deal. It's really not. Like, it might be a little shocking, but, like, it's the human body.
Yeah. What about the stuff down there? Should you be able to
Not at a convenience store.
Should you be able to show off that stuff?
But if you're
You're at a Quick Trip, though.
No, if you're
How about a quick look at a Quick Trip?
No.
If someone could,
No.
you would go to that store.
No.
If you knew there was someone standing out there,
No.
you wouldn't.
I've been at the donut shop in downtown Seattle where a guy dropped his pants.
Hang on, stop
at the top pot.
Stop the show right here. What'd you say?
So I was it was a guy that was clearly eating more than donuts.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was on a different planet, and he just took his pants off and was standing there in a busy line. I was buying a half a dozen donuts for some probably a real estate thing, and he was having a psychotic break or something.
Yeah.
It was not a pleasant donut trip.
That's a little different, but this sounds like this is happening in downtown Seattle all the time. And if in downtown Seattle people were only,
if a guy can
only
walk down the
showing
street-
their Catholic stuff,
If it's-
I think people would be fine with that. But usually what people are doing is they're showing their stuff, and then
There are
And
men's
then-
bodies
and-
that you
and-
don't want to see topless, and so if it's like you're saying, oh, it's objectionable. Like, how is it more objectionable for some men's?
Yeah.
I think it's the proper.
I was
word.
looking at myself this morning, and I did not want to see myself topless. I'll say that. I was a little gassy today, a little bloaty. And then I do have a back mirror that I use sometimes when I get out of the shower to check my back hair. My back hair right now, like I have an afro back there. It is crazy what is going. Do you have back hair?
I'm sure I do. I
Do you
don't
shave it?
I don't check it with a
I have like
mirror.
a back shaver.
I don't do that either.
So before I came today, I did a back shave, but I didn't have my contacts in. And then when I put my contacts in, boy, did I miss some spots.
And that's all for this weekend. Too much information.
And then once I did my back, I'm like, I might as well do my legs. And then once I did my legs, I did my other stuff too. So
I guess I was wrong.
I look
And that
like-
wraps up too much information with Don O'Neill.
I look like a baby boy today, and I'm 58 years old, and I'm damn proud. And anyway, just to put a bow around it, it is alarming when you start getting those love handles in the back a little bit, and you can see guys that have a bunch of like fat up front. It's good because it pulls on the love handles, and when you see it from the back, you look fine. But I don't have that much stuff up front. But boy, I got a little love handle thing going on that I'm working on. I do not like that at all. So what do you do about yours?
Don't worry about it. I'm in my 50s. Who cares? What are we doing, a beauty contest all of a sudden? What are we on YouTube?
You know what I'm going to do since we're on YouTube is next week I'm going to come in, I'm going to put my contacts in, and for everyone, I'm going to shave the rest of my back hair on camera. What do you think?
There's probably a channel for that.
What are you going to do?
I will be vacating the premises when you do that.
Or defecating the premises. We will see you in 1 minute. All right, you guys, welcome back to the Ron and Don Show. Don't forget, if you need us, we sell the sound. At least that's what it says here in studio. And don't forget, if you need us on your real estate journey, go to ronanddonsitdown.com, and we come out and Ron and Don sit on you. No, we actually give you a Ron and Don sit down mug that we're drinking out of. here in our brand new Ron and Don studios, our Les Schwab studios. If you sit down with us, we give you a $5 mug.
Probably more than $5.
How much? 6?
Probably around 6.
Okay, we give you a $6 mug, which sounds like a tremendous deal. If we do a real estate deal with you, we will give you a coffee mug.
People love the coffee mugs.
Do they?
Oh my God!
What other realtors give you new cash, cars, and stars? Ron and Don, you get a Ron and Don. I sat down. It says it right here. I sat down with Ron and Don right there. So yeah, you want a bottle of bubbly? We'll give you the mug to drink the bottle of bubbly out of,
Don't
right?
make fun of the mugs. People like
Spare
the mugs.
no expense. Well, we spent all the money on the new YouTube studio.
Yeah.
So check us out online. And how do you do that? Just Ron and Don.
YouTube, Ron and Don Radio.
Yeah, Ron and Don Radio. Let's talk about tipping. Rules have changed. What are the rules of
I read this article.
Tipping?
They didn't seem like it changed all
Seems
that
like
much.
it seems like the same rules.
Seems like the same rules. The problem I'm having here, the biggest thing that jumped out to me in this article that, in all seriousness, I wanted to talk to you about, because I did work in the food industry when I was a teenager, so it's been a long time.
You served tortilla chips.
I did, and I was relying on tips. I think we got at Garduño's of Mexico in Albuquerque, made like $2 an hour, and then you got tipped out at the end of your shift.
Okay.
And so but I only did it for like 1 year.
Did you eat free chips in that?
I got free chips. Sometimes you'd get.
What if someone left a taco on a plate?
If it was an untouched taco,
it was not molested yet.
If it was an untouched taco, I would eat that taco,
I would eat that
at the
taco.
bus station.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I worked in the first cafeteria. If you had a Salisbury steak that's just kind of hanging there that you didn't get to because it's all you could stand, so people would just fill up their plates. Hey, if you left a bunch of green beans, homie ain't interested in those green beans, but you leave me a Salisbury steak and some mashed potatoes, that shiznit's going down.
What if it was
and I'm going to share that with Enrique back in the kitchen because he loves the Salisbury steak.
What
too,
if it was-
because he made the Salisbury steak?
What if it was severed with a knife, but it was half a Salisbury steak? It was a clean cut.
Yep.
Would you eat that half a Salisbury?
I was 15, man. I was the PM floor supervisor. I was in charge of
So the
16
answer is
people,
yes.
and it's because I was the only one who could speak English. Of course I would.
So
I'd go back with the dish guys, and we'd take that stuff down.
here's the thing that they bring up in this article where they said, you as a diner need to recognize that the price tier of the restaurant that you go to,
Yeah.
that if you don't preemptively add 20% on there, that you shouldn't go to that restaurant because that 20% is your requirement as the customer because of the wages are low. And so
I thought it's 25%.
he said 20 preemptively. If you thought the service was good, you go above 20%. But he's saying it's your obligation as the patron.
What about where they add it, though? What if they add
Well, then I'm just talking about the concept. So I fundamentally disagree with
Okay,
this
we go.
concept.
Speaking of language,
So-
I understand.
He's saying that
We go to Pizza Hut. Now what?
right. He's going. If you're going to a Pizza Hut and a pizza at Pizza Hut's probably $30 a pizza now.
It's unbelievable.
So he's like, you need to before you even step foot in Pizza Hut, you're going. Okay, me and my son. In all honesty, it's probably a $50 tab minimum.
Well, before you go in that Pizza Hut, make sure that Pizza Hut is now not a gas station,
Right.
Because most of the Pizza Huts are gas.
Track
gas
with
stations.
me on this concept.
Sure.
You're saying you need to go a minimum of 20% on your tip because that is part of the wages of the staff. Your tip, and if you go below 20%, you're essentially robbing these people of their hourly wage. I fundamentally disagree with that. I think a business establishment should pay a wage, and then the tip is a gratuity on top of that wage.
don't. In all seriousness, you don't mind. You're saying it's a $30 pizza, then you don't mind if it's a $40 or $45 pizza.
I'm saying that the tip is not my obligation for an hourly wage.
But it is the obligation of the business to make money. So if they're going to make money, they're going to pass that along to somebody, and they're going to pass that along
But
to.
I just don't think 20% is my responsibility out of the gate. If you have horrible service at any price point, then the way that you let that server know, in my opinion, that their service wasn't bad or that their service wasn't good, is by not giving them 20%. So if you're a server and you're constantly getting 10% tips or 5% tips, you need to look in the mirror and go, why are my tips so low and Don's getting 25, 30% tips? Because he's a better server than me. If you're obligated to give 20, then you should have just raised your prices of your menu.
And I don't make you go to the salad wagon. I go to the salad wagon for you. I get your bacon bits and your ranch dressing, and then I bring that back.
That's a ridiculous concept. If you run a business and the frontline employees get paid less than minimum wage, because this is an article that's going to go all across America. Seattle has a minimum wage that is, I think, $15 or $17. So they're talking about people in Iowa that you're working at a diner and they may make $3 an hour.
Hey, why not Iowa?
$5 an hour.
Why not Iowa?
And then
everyone on YouTube understands that reference, by the way. And next week I'll be wearing, and Matt, I'm going to bring you one. Ron, I'm going to bring you one. What size you wear? XXXL?
And do you disagree with me on that? So you're in Iowa, you're collecting space junk. You stop in to get a greasy spoon
in your new Slate truck.
In your new Slate truck.
Yeah.
And do you feel good about, regardless of how I'm treated in here, my starting point's 20%.
It depends. Every situation is different. Like I went in today to a coffee shop. They were just inundated with customers. The barista was also working the cash register. She couldn't have been nicer, kinder, faster. She was waiting. She was doing all of it. And usually when I go in this coffee shop, there's 3 people and there's just her. So when they spin that thing around, and I usually give $1 or $2. Today I gave $5 because I wanted to send her a message.
Because you got exceptional service.
Yeah, I got exceptional service, and I wanted her to send a message that I appreciated that she didn't sleep in today.
That's what I'm saying.
She actually showed up at the coffee shop.
You're agreeing with me. The
Cafe
tip,
Ladra, by the way, on Queen Anne Mountain.
The tip is a message. It's not.
It is a message.
It's not their wage. The wage should be part of the business.
Yeah.
And so I just, that's the part that I really struggle with. And then to your secondary point,
I struggle
when you have
with this part in the Bible about wages, the wages of sin is death.
When you have the automatic 20%. I went to California for a weekend, and they just had the list for the best the best bars in North America. And so the Bay Area had 2 of the top 50. So me and my buddy Michael, we went to number 17th best bar in America.
Was it 17th best?
17th best bar in North, so Canada, Mexico, and United States, 17th best on the list. We went in there. Our server was delightful. Really good cocktails, as you would expect from the 17th best bar. And so when she came and delivered the bill, she said, "Hey, we have an automatic 20% gratuity." And both Michael and I were like, she was fantastic.
Was she
We're going to
pretty?
go. She was a college grad. She was, she was attractive. And so, but very good bartender, very good, stop down and talk to us for a while.
Do you give more if someone's attractive?
Probably. And
I think I do too.
Subliminally.
I think if you're attractive, I give you more money. I think I would like to say that I don't do that, but I'm probably doing that.
But my point is she explained the 20%. We gave an addition to 20% to as a show of
40%?
appreciation. No, we gave more than 20%.
You said they charge 20%, you get 20%? Ron, that's 40% last time I checked.
No, they automatically put 20% on there. But if the service was poor,
didn't you just say you gave then 20% on
no,
top
I
of
gave
that?
additional money on top of the 20%
Okay.
to show her that we felt like she was a great server. But I also told her that she was very good. And so I didn't just do that so my point being is
were you guys drunk?
No.
Okay.
This was middle of the day.
You're day drinking?
It was 4 p.m.
That's the best time to get drunk, I think, is during the day in San Francisco.
And so,
isn't it?
But so how do you feel about the automatic 20%?
I always, if I go to a really nice restaurant and you go to the Met, for instance, which is old school, and then you can tell the servers there do not like the fact that they already add the 20 or the 25% because they think they deserve more and they want more. And so when they put that bill down, they'll look around to see if the manager's around. They're like, hey, that's something that we have to add. But, if you want to, which when you go there, it really is about the experience. And you'll meet bartenders there that have been there 20, 25, 30 years, right? So and you go there for the customer service. Or if you go to Canlis, for instance.
I'm going to Canlis this month.
You're not paying for it. Mark and Shelby are paying for
They're
it.
darn right.
Thanks to Mark and Shelby, our clients who are sending Ron to Canlis. Do I get to go to Canlis?
And I'm going to tip 18%. No, this is the thing. Well, I'll ask you this. Hold on. Let me close on that.
You want to arm wrestle? Let's go.
Let's do this.
Let's go, Upshaw.
How did you like when you were in Iceland? Was there no tipping?
I still tip.
I know, but was there no tipping?
There's no tipping.
And how did you feel about that?
It was kind of liberating. I got to tip if I wanted to.
Did you get were people still good servers and you got good experiences?
And then I had people tell me that were Americans that weren't tipping, that I knew that were, hey, you're not supposed to tip, is slap in the face. And so I said, "Oh, okay. Let me talk to the server." Then I pulled the person, because I didn't want to embarrass anyone. I said, "Is it slap in the face if I tip you?" And they're like, "No, absolutely not."
But you being not obligated to tip,
you're not obligated.
It felt good, right?
Yeah, and you pay a little more.
And you realize that this business is taking care of their employees. That's my whole point. Is if you run a business, it's the business owner's obligation to take care of their employees. It's not the patron on top of the base price.
Which means overall, you still may end up paying the same, because they're going to have to charge more,
right?
In order to meet,
that's what it costs to run a business.
In order to meet their margins,
right? I think what it costs you to run your business should be the price.
Finally, they talked about if you go to a birthday party, whoever the host is that invites you, they're responsible for paying. But
at a restaurant, a birthday restaurant.
Yeah. So if I invite you to a birthday party, it's my job to pay for you. But what if other friends are coming? How do you have that? So let's say I invite you, and then I invite Matt over there
to a restaurant,
and and I invite, let's say, Michael from San Francisco. So it's your birthday. I invite you.
If I invite
Matt's
people,
coming, Michael's coming, but I invited you, and I put this together. Who's paying?
I agree with that.
I'm asking a question. Who's paying?
You invited us. You should offer to pay
for everyone.
For everyone.
For everyone.
And then if you invited it and you set it up, if I invite you to a Mariner game, I'm going to buy your ticket because I'm inviting you to the game.
Yeah.
Unless we explicitly say we're all paying for our own stuff.
Okay. Then I'm not. Then I'm not.
Dutch treat.
Then I'm not. Sorry, I'm not inviting anyone to your birthday party. It's just me, you and I.
Perfect. At Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut, which may be a gas station.
Come Pizza the Hut.
Hey, you guys. It's the Ron and Don Show. More in a minute. All right, you guys, welcome back to the Ron and Don Show. I don't know if we're going to have time to talk about the mushroom murder. In this story is a really great story about a woman that tried to kill her own family with
it's not a great story. It's a horrible story. She did kill her family.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's why she's on trial.
I just read the byline.
So, yeah, it's not a really great story.
What happened?
This woman claims that she was in an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
And so her solution was to get poisonous mushroom caps.
This is in Australia, I think, right?
I don't know. I thought it was in America.
I think it's in Iowa. Why not Iowa?
Why not Iowa?
Yeah.
So she dehydrates these poisonous mushroom caps, and then she would grind them up and start incorporating them into food, experimenting on her own family to see if they would get sick. And then she continued to lethal doses with some people, and I think she put it in a beef Wellington. So beef Wellington already has a mushroom filling, so she combined the regular mushrooms, creminis or whatever, with the poisonous mushrooms, served it to some people, and killed them.
Erin Patterson ate off a different colored plate, so she wouldn't poison herself. How about that? But she did. But she it says she denies intentionally poisoning her former in-laws, Don and Gail Patterson, and Gail's sister Heather, and also she did it with beef Wellington laced with death cap mushrooms. Yeah, Australia. She's not. For the show, it'd work better if this is from Iowa, but it's actually from Australia. So anyway, we don't have time to get into that story.
It's a wild story.
Yeah. So I don't think I'll ever eat beef Wellington again.
Look, can I ask you, because you tease at the top of the show.
If I'm dating someone and she invites me over and says, hey, come on by, we're having some beef Wellington tonight.
If she happens to be
Australian. After reading the story, yeah, and one of her in-laws did say that survived this, said it was interesting because everybody else had a blue plate, and I think she had like a pink plate. And then they all got sick. She acted like she was sick. Who would have known? But we don't have time.
We don't have time for that.
We don't have time here.
So let me ask you this. On this, the story you teased at the top of the hour is There's a crackdown right now at airports trying to find dangerous immigrants.
Yep.
And that's part of the reason why we all had to get new driver's licenses that started this week, where you have to have the enhanced driver's license.
The real ID.
And so it's to verify these identities. You know more people in law enforcement than I know.
Yes.
That's
because I've been behind bars.
The guys that you talk to, would they rather... Like, I believe there's a known quantity of bad people, enough right now that law enforcement would have the full 24-hour or full-time jobs with the known people that, okay, here's a criminal from this country. They're here illegally. We know who they are. We know the crime that they've did. Let's go out and get them. Do law enforcement, would they rather do that or randomly search every person that's coming through Newark Airport that happens to be a foreigner and basically trying to deport them actively?
I don't know. I don't know that I can speak to that, because working in an airport is pretty effing boring anyway.
Right.
And I think if I had the opportunity, I didn't know that you could take someone's phone, and I'm like, holy shiznit, man. There's some. You better not be going to any porn sites. And then the next thing you know, let's say, and I'm a pretty dangerous immigrant. I'm an Irish guy, right? So let's say my son and I, on a serious note, are traveling. I didn't know that they could take your phone and go through your phone. And that's really what this story is about. It's like, hey, you need to be really careful if you have a phone.
We're talking about immigrants here.
It can be anyone, though. Anyone, anytime.
I've been pulled into the back room once, and they did not go through my phone.
What'd they do?
They went through my bag.
Yeah.
I had gone in for a spray tan because I was going to Mexico.
You look ridiculous.
And it looked ridiculous.
Spray tan.
But the spray tan spray set off the gunpowder residue thing. And so they pulled me in the back room, and I was like, hey, look. I'm a really white guy. I didn't want to get a sunburn in Mexico.
Oh, my gosh.
I got the spray tan. So
you would still
resolved.
get sunburn, though, with spray tan. It's not.
I understand that now. But they did not go through my phone for the spray tan.
You'll get
my thing
they
is...
can't. Did you know they can't? I didn't know that they could.
Yeah, and when I went to China, they did.
I didn't know when coming back from Iceland that if they wanted to take my phone and go through my phone, they can. And they said even someone like us, who were United States citizens... you would think you have nothing to worry about. They can go through your phone, and let's say
you committed a crime via text.
Well, no, let's say that you've been on campus and you were supporting Palestinians, for instance, or they can look at the articles that you're reading. They can look at the pictures.
They can already do that.
I didn't know they could.
Yeah,
you knew that.
Well,
they could go through your phone.
The government already knows what articles you look at without using your phone. Like you have a metadata profile.
Someone take my phone. I'm done with this phone. If this is true,
if ICE wanted to,
I'm in a lot of trouble.
If ICE wanted to show up, believe me, you use Apple News. There is a digital footprint of you.
Not anymore.
Of people knowing what you already are reading.
Yeah.
And so, hold on, Matt's getting the phone. Thank you, Matt. As he leaves
if you want to watch Matt, our producer,
crawl on the ground to get the phone,
taking my phone away.
My point when I read this is,
on YouTube, yeah.
I think both you and I, living in all the border states, California, Arizona, Texas, and New Mexico, we know that if there are dangerous people that have come into America,
which there are,
for
sure,
then 100% law enforcement, get them. Give them due process, deport people that have done that.
But
due
process is
the key.
Is the point.
I think it's misguided to take billions of dollars of security budget and say we're gonna go through students that are here studying. If you happen to be an immigrant and you fly into an airport, we want to deport you. I think that's misguided to say, oh, if someone has lived in America and they're working a construction job or they're working in agriculture and they've been here for 20 years, their children were born here, that's the person. You happen to have an arrest from 15 years ago for a parking violation or that you were smoking a joint. I think it's misguided to take that amount of resources towards this policy, which the article was on airports, where it's like, okay, I'm a student in good standing, and maybe my student visa is a week expired, and I stayed here to travel around with my buddies after graduation. That's the person we want to deport?
Yeah,
it's not.
It's a good point. And the president the other day, he when he was talking to the Canadian prime minister, he said, "Hey, I'm a real estate guy. I'm a real estate guy too, and I will tell you this right now: if you're in real estate." The people that are out making real estate happen, that are putting roofs on homes, that are painting walls,
that are landscaping,
that are taking care of yards.
landscapes.
I guarantee, in a number of years ago, before he was even president, when he was running, they did a story and an investigation about all the people that he has hired over the years.
Mar-a-Lago right now.
Right. So a lot of people that are standing up there that are saying, wow, we got to throw these people, all of them. If you're here illegally, we have to throw you out of the country.
Without due process.
Drive through their neighborhood and see if any of those congressmen are cutting their own lawn, right? They're not. Who's cleaning their house? Who's cleaning their businesses? Who is up on that roof? Who's putting in the insulation in the buildings that he has built? And he has probably hired more people that are here illegally and profited from that than anyone we know, based on the model of just it's impossible to do that. And I remember, I'll finish with this. After Hurricane Katrina, I was working down there as a reporter. Brad Pitt was in the lower Ninth Ward, and he wanted to rebuild all these homes or start rebuilding homes.
And they were beautiful architecture, low cost, great innovative designs.
So they said, well, try to use some of the locals that are here. Well, a lot of the locals were gone, right? They lost their homes. They lost their jobs. They weren't there. So he said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Texas, and I'm going to bring workers in from Texas. And he tried to bring in union workers from Texas. Couldn't get anyone to come rebuild those homes. And for years, they said, Brad Pitt went out, collected all this money. Why aren't these homes built? And he said, okay, if you really want the homes built. And then he went and he got Mexican labor to come in and to build those homes. And that's how the lower Ninth Ward got built. That's how America got built, right? On the backs of labor, a lot of times of people that are immigrants, and they are treated so unfair. The White House should be called the Black House because of who built it, right? You go down there, you look at the Washington Memorial. Washington didn't build the Washington Memorial. Who built when you go to the Lincoln Memorial?
Who built Mount Vernon?
Who
speaking
built
of Washington?
all of that? Yeah. So it's just
I think that
we're
targeting
we're
people
kicking
at
out
airports.
all the labor to create more jobs, and they're jobs of people. When's the last time you drove down the street and you saw a young person out there mowing a lawn? When's the last time you went through a drive-through and you saw a 15-year-old selling French fries? It's not true. So it is people that have come here that have worked their asses off to do jobs that none of us want to do, and now we're going to kick them out of the country. We're going to raise tariffs. That right there is going to end in disaster. I'll give you the final say.
This segment's not going to end in disaster. This episode is now on video.
Yes!
So you can go to youtube.com. You may have heard of it.
Yes!
Type in Ron and Don Radio and say, you are not as fat as I thought you'd be. Or you're fatter than I thought you'd be. I don't know. I've gained a couple pounds.
Yeah. All right. Matt, the producer, is now.
Your phone has now been screened and you are on the radar of ICE.
Yeah. No, that is crazy. I didn't know that. I didn't know that they could take your phone and just go through it. And they're saying a lot of people that are traveling now should leave your phone at home.
You get a burner phone.
And you should just get a burner phone.
I did
They said don't use facial recognition on it.
I did that in China.
You did?
I had a burner phone.
Why? What have you done wrong?
Exactly. I'm an American.
Wow. Interesting. What do you have to hide, Ron Upshaw? Hey, you guys, don't forget, if you need us, ronandonsitdown.com. If you want the nation news, that's our newsletter. And also, if you are thinking about jumping into a real estate journey, we would love to go on that journey with you, right? Because you know, Ron and Don, we sell the sound. And we did a lot of selling of the sound this week, didn't we, Ron?
Yes.
That's only for you. You only know what I was just doing right now if you're on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast,
you didn't see it.
You missed it. All right. RonandDonSitDown.com if you need us. Want to thank Matt today, Grace today, Alex today, my son today for being the station voice. Of course, Charlie the dog. He's Ron. I'm Don. Till next time, you guys, you keep your head up and your shoulders back. And don't forget, you better listen to the Ron and Don Show only on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
And TV network.
And TV network. And the radio and the TV. Do we have anything else?
Internet network.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Ron and Don Show. Now keep your head up and your shoulders back and find some black belt courage.